Do you believe that things are too good to be true? Let's go through my PowerPoint and see what that could mean. Once upon a time, I was in my 30s and I was bedridden. I expected to die within 2 weeks. I had no more energy. I had 6 children and I had made my peace with God that he or she was going to take care of my children. And I was just waiting, ready to die. Our neighbor had recorded a show on TV and brought us a video. It was Healing in the Mind by Bill Moyer. It was interesting, but it was too late for me. And yet, at the end of that video, an economist started a talk with, why don't we die doing something we enjoy? And then the video was cut off. And I thought, what a concept. Dying doing something we enjoy. I was just waiting in bed, waiting to die. And I said, okay, what was I doing when I was very healthy? It was when I was between 18 and 24. Well, I was mostly eating right. I was vegetarian, but I had some meat. I was still doing that. I was studying a lot. I love to study, always have. And I was studying because I was homeschooling my children and I was doing yoga. And I wasn't doing yoga at that time, but I was just in bed waiting to die. I lived in the wilderness in close to Yosemite Park, but it was like an hour to go to the closest town, and the shopping was 2 hours away. So it was very isolated. And we had a mail shack, just like a little cabin where people were like 8 houses living down there. We each got a box where the mail came. And within a day or two, I got a magazine that I hadn't subscribed to that offered yoga tapes. It was from the Nightingale Conan Corporation. So why not? So I called them. I ordered the tape, and then the lady at the other end of the phone said, we have a special this month. It's Personal Excellence by Kenneth Blanchard. And you can listen to the recording. If you like it, just pay us. If not, then return it. Said, what do I have to lose? So I got it. Personal excellence was all about setting goals. And that's what I did. Lying in bed, I started to set goals. Was that too good to be true to get this tape? I recovered. So personal excellence and yoga tips. I was lying in bed, as I mentioned, I was too weak, but I started to sit up. And one of my goals was to get a doctorate. And I gave myself 5 years to get one doctorate. That's what I had wanted to be since I was a child. I wanted to be a doctor. And I started to sit up and say, come on, sit up, doctor. Come on, doctor, you can walk. And little by little, I started to get my strength back. Still living in the wilderness, in the mail shack, I got a postcard. Would you like to become a doctor of naturopathy? Of course, I wanted to do that. And I had already studied a lot about alternative medicine, alternative health. So it didn't take me long to get that ND degree. But the ND degree is kind of political. Medical doctors are ND, traditional naturopath have a different degree, but it's all ND. So I thought in order to work, maybe I needed the PhD, but I didn't know where to get a PhD, and another postcard came in the mail shack. We just bridging the ND to the PhD. Are you interested in taking that class? Of course, I was interested, but at the time I was homeschooling 7 children, and that PhD was quite a bit of work. How could I do that? Another postcard arrived in that mail shack. Again, too good to be true. It was about photo reading. You start reading at 20,000 words a minute and go up from there. Say, wow, that could be useful. So I ordered the book, read the book. I ordered the home study course and I did it. Then I attended the workshop, I believe 3 times in the course of a couple of years. And it helped me to get my PhD in record time. To do my thesis on the power of the mind in healing, I photo read 48 books during a weekend. Then I had butcher paper plastered all over a wall in my bedroom, and I started to mind map ideas everywhere on that wall and got my PhD with high honor. Too good to be true? but it happened. Then I was looking for my next project, the next thing I wanted to study. I got that book, Alternative Medicine, Definitive Guide, 1,233 pages. And I went through it, and I stuck with something that was of interest. Again, I felt led to look at that. And it was about interactive guided imagery. It was a 2-year study. And then the testing was in front of doctors and psychologists, was 8 days of testing. And it just changed my life. It was going deep inside to find the root cause of a problem very quickly. That just totally changed my life, my way of practicing. So yeah, again, too good to be true. Then during the annual convention of the Academy for Guided Imagery, I came across the tapping techniques. At the time, it was called meridian-based energy psychotherapy. And I was just going from workshop to workshop during that convention. If I had read what those tapping techniques, what that energy psychology was, I would have gone to the pool. It was definitely too good to be true. And it's another thing that changed my life even faster and helped my client get rid of their problem even faster. It's called energy psychology, EFT, emotional freedom technique, BSFF, Be Set Free Fast. It's all about tapping on meridian point while focusing on a psychological problem, and it just vanishes. It's amazing. It's easy to learn. You can go deeper and get rid of all kind of trauma, whatever the trauma was. I love that. And that was definitely too good to be true. And yet it proved to be amazing. Then money was going pretty good. I was having clients, I was teaching classes and workshops, and I taught some classes at UNLV for seniors. I was training people in California, but that was a while ago. Lately, that was going in reverse. The money was going down for my clients and for myself. And I had 5 clients in a row telling me, we'd love to work with you. We cannot afford it. So what was I to do? I went into a meditative state saying, okay, if I'm not a doctor, if I can't help people, what else can I do? I know I can garden. I know how to homestead. I've done it. I homeschooled 7 children. And for a couple of days, I was wondering what to do. And sometimes I believe that this too good to be true is actually a nudge from God, the universe, whatever you want to call that creative power. And I got a nudge. I got an email from Kevin, who is helping me with my website. And he said, hey, I found that group, that program. You might be interested. And I looked at it, I checked it, and I had absolutely no understanding what it was about. So I asked him, he explained, I read a little more about it, and that's when I came to that blueprint for wealth. It was, again, too good to be true, but it was amazing how many people were going through, and even Kevin was doing great. So I signed up for the program because it was just 2 hours a day of work, and I could do that. So the goal was working 2 hours a day to a 6-figure income. Well, I can find 2 hours a day. And yeah, 6-figure income would not have hurt. I've met several people who did it almost right away. It's automated. So you have a program to sell. Actually, you have 4 programs. One costs 100, one 300, one 600, and one 900. I went all the way to the 900 because it comes with a lot of training, daily training, workshops where we go into group and help with each other's business. Some people start at 100 and then they go up to the next program. So, Mary Christensen had $600 pulling weeds out of the garden. That was one of the training we had. In order to become wealthy, we have to remove the weeds that keep us poor and learn to communicate with our potential client. And although I believe I'm a great doctor and coach, I do suck at marketing. And for me, it's taking me a little more time because I'm not used to being on social media. So right now I'm learning TikTok. And it's just so much fun. The group is growing about 2,000 people a week. Yesterday we had a training with a 500 people group, and then we were into a breakup room talking about challenges and solution. It's just the most amazing leadership program I've seen. So again, is it too good to be true? Why don't you check it out? Instead of saying, it's too good to be true and putting a barrier between you and what good things could come in your life, why aren't you just curious? Or say, I'm not interested. That's definitely a barrier. Or just ask yourself, why don't I check it out? So you can go on my website. You have all the information here on the screen. It's www.dynamicmomsbuildwealth.com. It's my website because my heart is toward helping mothers become financially independent so they can stay home and raise their children, maybe homeschool them, and maybe also give time for that to be at home more so he doesn't have to work 2 or 3 jobs. My TikTok is at MomBizMagic1. I still do the holistic training and coaching on my Substack newsletter, so daniellecoaching.substack.com, or you can send me a text, 702-967-30. If you want more information, I'd be delighted to speak with you. So again, too good to be true? Maybe not. Be careful with how you say, because if you say too good to be true, then good things may not come your way. So be open to the too good to be true and believe that it can be true.